Hey guys, welcome to Electronic Dance Money, your number one business resource for making money as electronic musicians and producers. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Electronic Dance Money. I'm your host, Christian Casito. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. I think this episode's probably going to be a shorter one. We'll see. We'll see how long I dive into this topic, but this is an interesting one. I didn't even, take many notes, really. But just a couple of weeks ago, it was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, a friend of mine and a client reached out to let me know that he was throwing a show in a park, a local park here in Austin. If you have been to Austin or you live in Austin, it was at Zilker Park. You know of the place. It's a huge public park. That's where they throw ACL, the music festival here in Austin, which has, massive attendance of, just a crazy, I don't know. It's got to be over 100,000 people that go to the ACL. It's huge. I know some of the biggest artists had played there. Calvin Harris played one year. It's huge. But he threw a little pop-up show in Zilker, and it was super low key. And it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. There was probably 20 of his friends and some of the other DJs' friends and whatnot. And this is the first time I had been there. I met a lot of really cool people. I think a couple of which are probably listening to this episode, hopefully. But then there were some stragglers around the park that were kind of oh, these guys are playing some music, and they had nice speakers set up. Nothing too crazy, nothing too big, but enough to where it was like a party. And, some people were coming in from around the park, strangers that knew no one, and were hanging out and dancing. And it got me thinking about how, and I saw at least one guy walk up to him in the middle of his set, and he handed him a business card. And I was like, that's when it really dawned on me. That's when it hit me. I was like, oh, this is a really interesting business tactic that I see almost no one doing. A lot of people, when they want to get into shows, they'll find a venue, throwing shows. They want to get into throwing shows. They'll find a venue, see how much it would cost for them to basically rent it out for the night. Maybe they take a percentage of the door, plus the bar keeps, all of the money they make, and yada, yada, yada. They throw a show, cost them $500, maybe $1,000, and they get 50 people in. And, some of those might be friends, some not at all, but the park thing is interesting because you're throwing a show with your own gear, your own equipment, with almost no marketing, just, inviting friends saying, hey, we're going to be here on this day. They didn't really promote, I don't think they promoted it on social media at all. They just hit their friends up and said, hey, we're going to be playing some music in the park around this time. Come join, bring some friends if you want. And a decent amount of people showed up and hung out the entire time. And to the point where they're like, where's the after party? And some people were like, oh, I wonder if it's going to get shut down. It might get shut down because the cops might come. And as far as I left, I think there was an hour left into them playing. I left around 9 p.m. or something. I had something to do that evening, but from the sounds of it, they never got shut down. And as artists, it's a really interesting way to market yourself and potentially turn that into some sort of careers, doing these kind of random pop-up shows and then letting your friends know a week, 2 weeks prior, hey, this is where we're going to be playing. This is who's playing. You bring 3 or 4 of your friends who DJ, find someone with some speakers, and they had just a little generator set up. I think it was an electric, I don't know what it was. The generator was silent So it was perfect. Now, obviously, depending on where you're living, throwing a pop-up show might not be okay with COVID and whatnot. But I mean, if there's a big park somewhere, I've never been to New York. I don't know what New York is like, but if you live in New York City, I'd assume you'd be able to go to Central Park and maybe set some little thing up, hit up your friends, invite them out. I'd assume that after dark, probably wouldn't be the best place to be, is in Central Park, but and I'm sure you'd get kicked out or something. And God knows, with their regulations and COVID and stuff, you might get fined. So maybe New York's not the best example, but Austin's a great example because I went to the show and he's throwing another one. It's a really interesting way you can get a lot of really dedicated random fans. And that's what I was looking at for a majority of the time, was I was seeing random people jump in. And if you can get like a small little visualizer board, or maybe even get a flag or some banner for when you play and put that up there, maybe even with a QR code on there, a big QR code, so people from a distance can scan it and all of your socials come up, your Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You've got really good, good opportunity there to actually get a pretty organic, loyal fan base, because they'll hear you play and be like, this guy's sick. Let me follow him. Even better if you have some awesome tracks on Spotify. But not only that, let's also take it into the perspective of like starting a business. This is how really good, successful businesses are started, based off of these really simple ideas where they go, me and my friends just want to hang out and listen to some good music. Next thing you know, you're pulling in a crowd of 50, 70 people in a park that you did not anticipate. And that's where the sketchy stuff comes in. You get liability issues, potential for cops showing up, people, drinking or whatever, and you might be held liable. I mean, technically, would you? You're not making money off the event, you're just hanging out. So, I mean, who knows? I don't know the logistics and the legality of that sort of stuff, but the point is you have the opportunity to maybe start a business name and start presenting these little pop-up shows as, this event is hosted by so-and-so, whatever the company is. And if people recognize that, and you can draw in 70 people to a pop-up show through basically word of mouth advertising, think about what you could do with a marketed event at a venue where people are paying $10 for a ticket to see you and your friends play, and you can already guarantee that 70 people will show up. And those people hopefully will bring, 2 or 3 friends. And you actually, maybe you put a marketing budget in that and pay some money to run some ads or whatever it is you want to do with marketing. I mean, you're looking at 70 people, $10 a ticket. It's $700 right there. Let's say the venue itself is going to take 20% off the top. Still not bad money. Around $500 and something. You have the potential of people seeing you that, like I said, someone walked up, got a business card. Who knows who that person was? Maybe he wanted to hire him to throw an event, which is a whole nother game, because now you're talking about possibly charging $2,000 to throw some sort of show. Maybe you need to rent some gear and that costs you $300-$400, and you bring 2 or 3 of your friends, you pay them each $100, maybe $200 each, and you're able to leave and pocket $1,200, $1,500. That's not bad money for throwing some sort of show that's 3, 4, 5 hours long. It's not bad money at all. That's actually really, really good money. We've talked about throwing shows like these before in a couple of episodes. We talked about with So-Called Productions back on episode 20. They're throwing, I need to get an update from them, see what they're doing during COVID, but they were throwing a bunch of shows. And then same when we had DJ Sean J on. He talked a lot about DJing as a career. The events he throws, doing corporate events, doing local bar shows, and then obviously doing weddings. But what I'm seeing when they're doing these pop-up shows, I'm seeing the beginning of a production company. I'm seeing the beginning of someone I'm sure my buddy already realizes this. I'll have to talk to him, but I mean, it is the beginnings of a production company where they'll be throwing some really awesome shows when things open back up. Once he figures out a way how he can monetize this sort of thing, and in that setting, when it's free entertainment like that, throw out a donation bucket. Include a Venmo donation banner of some sort, where people can scan a QR code. What's even more interesting here is you could set up a live stream as well. All you need is a hotspot of some sort, and you can do a live stream. Set up a couple of cameras and live stream it on Twitch or live stream it on Facebook, and then you can set up a donation button where people can actually go and donate on a live stream. You could get 30, 40, 50 people on a live stream and then have 30 people hanging out in person. That's an awesome event. That's a sick show. Pop-up shows, I'm realizing, I'd never thought about it. I don't know why, but this concept of having a pop-up show is really cool. It's a lot of fun. You're in this, you're creating, going into the psychology of marketing, you're creating a lot of nice social currency for some of these people. And what I mean by that in terms of social currency is, people want to be a part of the in-group. They want to be a part of a secret group that not a lot of people are a part of. Think of a hipster. If you've ever talked to a hipster about something, most of the time they're like, oh yeah, I liked that before it was mainstream. They like, hipsters love having that social currency. They like acting like they're in the in, that, though they know things that people don't. So they're cool. So they want to share with people about how cool they are. That people like that. Inherently, people like being a part of those secret groups to talk to people about, dude, I went to this pop-up show. I was just hanging out in the park. I saw these guys set up, and then 2 hours later, they're playing all these, they're playing a bunch of tunes for like 4 or 5 hours. I went over, hung out with them, talked to a couple of people, and I met some really awesome friends. I can't wait till the next show. And they start telling their friends, they take pictures, they take videos, they post those on social media. Now, the only thing, the issue that he currently has, the hole that I'm seeing, is that there is no promotion of any brand there. There's no promotion of, no artist name, no production company name. There's nothing to promote when people do show up and they do take pictures and they do take videos. Because think about the difference of taking a picture or a video of this really cool random thing you're seeing in a park of these DJs playing and a bunch of people hanging out and dancing, but you don't know who they are. So you take a video or a picture and people are like, oh, this is cool. Now what? There's no follow-up. There's no follow-through. But when you see that there's a banner or a flag or something that says DJ so-and-so or so-and-so artist name or company name, insert your brand name here. People can then go, oh, okay, this is the company name. I'm going to take a picture. Let me go like them on Facebook. Let me go follow them on Instagram. Okay, now I can tag them. Tag the photo. So-and-so is throwing an event in the park right now. Now their friends will see that. Now their friends can go like that page and get updated when they have their next pop-up show. There's a lot of really cool stuff you could do with this. And there's plenty of ways that you can monetize it as well. For the artists, they can get a lot of new organic fans that will probably start listening to their music almost right after they leave. You have the opportunity to start actually throwing real events real events at real venues where you can get heads in the door and pay. And what it would be even better is if you did some sort of, or like I said earlier, you can do donations as well, accept donations. But what would be cool is some sort of giveaway too, to do in the middle of the event. I don't know what that giveaway would be. If you have an established company, it could be a merch package that's valued at like $100 or something. Spend $100, get a shirt, a hat, some stickers, If a bunch of artists want to put their music for free on a USB drive, something like that, something really cool, unique, a fun experience, do a giveaway, and have one of your friends walk around and with a clipboard and have people basically enter in their information, name, email, phone number, that sort of stuff, and then give them a ticket for the raffle. And in the middle of the show or towards the end, I'd say probably in the middle of the show, you can do the raffle, maybe towards the end because more people might show up, or have a set time when you're going to do the raffle. That'll get people to want to stick around. They get a cool merch package. They'll probably tag you on social media when they win that. But if you're thinking the way I'm thinking, if you're thinking like a marketer, if you're thinking like a business owner, if you're in this business-minded sense, you'll realize that something very significant happened here. You got their contact information. You got their email. You got their name. You have that information, which you can then utilize later on, especially if you're a production company, especially if you're going to be throwing shows later on. You can use a email marketing service like MailChimp, send a mass email out to all those people. Hey, super glad you showed up to the event last week on this day. We really hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be sending out some more emails whenever we have more pop-up shows. So stay on this list if you want. If you don't want any more emails, hit the unsubscribe button. Otherwise, go to our social medias and follow. There's so much power in this sort of thing that, taking just a very small investment in something like a merch package or some sort of giveaway, you have the opportunity to actually collect the emails to then market with later on. Once you start throwing those shows at the venue, you can, let's say you do this for an entire summer. You just throw these free pop-up shows. Test out some different marketing tactics. And, I will say what's really unique about his position right now is that a lot of the stuff he's doing is word of mouth. So try to stay within that because that's going to reduce your marketing costs. But invest in little small things like giveaway type stuff. Or setting up a live stream, anything like that. Whatever's going to improve things, test those out, see how they go. But if you do that for an entire summer, and let's say you get 300 emails, 400 emails, that's huge. 400 people that actually pay attention. Let's go conservative. You got 300 emails, but really 200 people are paying attention. 200 people are interested in your pop-up shows. The pop-up shows now get too big, you get kicked out, you can't, that's awesome. If you get kicked out for too many people, you're in the perfect fucking spot. You're throwing a great party. You know what that means? It's time to get into the venue. Because if you can pull 200 heads for your first show at a venue, the venue's going to love you. They're going to want you to throw a show every single week. 200 people, $10 a ticket, $2,000. Pay your DJs, a couple hundred each. Or 100, whatever you want to do. The venue takes 10%, whatever it's going to be. 10%'s not that much. They take 200, maybe 20% of the door, 400, plus the bar. They make a decent amount that night. If 200 people spending money at bars, you figure 100 people are going to buy 2 drinks each at $10. They themselves are going to make $2,000 off of just the bar. If not a little bit more, $2,000 to $4,000 plus the $200 to $400 they're gonna make off of you. Venue's gonna love you. But that's pretty much it. I had this idea for this episode. I kind of wanted to wing it and work through this because this is a really interesting topic. This is a really interesting idea that I think a lot of people should be utilizing. You as producers and DJs, you probably want to be playing shows. You want to be practicing. Throw your own damn pop-up show for free. Invite your DJ friends. Just get the gear, get what you need, and invite 10 people each. Hey, we're going to be at this spot here. And send coordinates. You can get coordinates. That's how he does it. They take GPS coordinates of where they're going to be located. So you just go to the park, flip on, you're walking to this location, you walk there, you see them hang out. They were drinking, they were hanging out. It was awesome. I highly recommend this. Highly suggest it. That's it for today's episode, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. Like I said, go throw your own damn show. Have fun with this stuff. business is fun. Marketing's fun. This type, when you see a success story like this, it's not, it's a minor success story. They're not doing anything big, but it's super exciting. For the show notes, head to enviousaudio.com/episode 39. Guys, we're almost at episode 50. We're getting close. I might have to do something special. Maybe a live episode, some sort of live stream or something. But enviousaudio.com/episode 38. If you need any mixing or mastering help, if you're struggling with that sort of stuff, just go to enviousaudio.com, fill out my contact form, join the Facebook community, Electronic Dance Money Community on Facebook. Say what's up. Let me know if you need any help. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support, and I will see you next time.